gospel according to Elohosat teaches us that every city has a spirit. That to gather any set of buildings, people, things, roads, skies, waters, and call it a place is to make something alive. And if there's anything we've learned about spirits from Tutuola, it's that our extraterrestrial counterparts, just like all other living things, vary in the shape, size, and texture of their idiosyncrasies. Just as no two individuals, even twins, can be the same, so too are no two cities the same. Everyone brings something different to the table. Some cities offer fantasy, some offer ancient memories, some offer adventure, some offer spiritual redemption, and then there are others who simply refuse to be an offering, who insist that they are the table, the altar upon which the offerings are made. Lagos is one of those cities. The restless muse with a million toasters. Hard to catch and even harder to keep up with. There's a recurring theme of, to borrow Chimamanda's words, admiring defeat you notice in every piece of art that tries to capture its essence. Its despair is painted with the most romantic colors, and its beauty is painted with a tinge of despair. You see this contrast best in Jade Oshibere's works, Gangs of Lagos and Christmas in Lagos. On the one hand, you have horror dressed in so much pomp you can't bring yourself to look away from it or even hate it, and on the other hand, you have a garden variety of love with a cloud of despair tucked away carefully somewhere in the background. It's easy to miss amidst the groove, but you hear it in Whiskey to Jolegba. The people dancing, suffering, and praying for blessing. But nowhere is this theme reflected more clearly than in Brymo's 2013 album, Merchants, Dealers, and Slaves. Merchants, Dealers, and Slaves was the third album released by Nigerian musician and songwriter Olawale Oloforo, Brymo. His first as an indie artist after his rather tumultuous departure from Chocolate City. The album is an 11-track trip around a very dark landscape painting of Lagos through the eyes of a naive young man who gets entangled in the enchanting city. It's a part coming of age story, part coming of common sense, and part losing of innocence journey told across 36 minutes of musical brilliance, where Brymo cuts into the great bones beneath Lagos's glossy skin and captures the irony in the contrast. In this video essay, I will be exploring the story told in Merchants, Dealers, and Slaves, breaking down its key themes and messages track by track, while attempting to trace the outlines of its intentions until we can get a clear enough picture of Lagos, according to Brymo. So, walk with me, love. The first track on the album, Truthfully, is a beautiful romantic ballad. This is where we meet our protagonist, cute, wide-eyed, hopeful, and hopelessly in love. He's writing a love song and watching his crush wash outside through the torn net of his room, where the yellow walls have lost their complexion and the fan has mild arthritis. He's sweaty, smelly, smiling, and confessing his love to the girl next door.
Truthfully, I'm feeling free. There's something about the way you loving me.
There's a joyful disbelief in his voice when he says this. It feels like an old Nollywood love story. You can almost smell the red earth and surrounding vegetation. Towards the end of the song, though, we hear him say, and people, they will never understand you. But I promise, I'm always here to find you. This sounds endearing on first listen, but after multiple trips down the road the album takes us, one starts to get suspicious of our lover boy. Is his ballad about Lagos or his woman? Does the image playing at the back of his mind correlate with the one in front of his eyes? But before we're able to process our thoughts, we're suddenly ripped out of the scene and thrown into the claustrophobic streets of Lagos for a quick tour of the city, guided by its patron saint, money.
I did think about the money, I did think about my boss. If I didn't,
those are the first words we hear. Our tour guide is in a pure white dry lace buba and shukoto and a black APC branded cap. He has bloodshot eyes, brown teeth with grills, and a massive gold chain with a dollar sign on it. He's funny, full of life and energy, and he takes us everywhere in a dizzying blur. The markets, the dealers, the prostitutes, the bars, parties, clubs, raves, while continuously screaming,
let the liquor drown the pain tonight, we'll worry in the morning.
As he hands out bottles, sachets and red cups with unknown substances like flyers. At different points during the tour, we meet multiple people who complain to him about money and the constant tax he demands. He laughs and replies every time. If you run into debt, it's not a problem. As long as there's life, there's hope. And then he takes them to the loan sharks. After the tour, while we're still trying to recover from the psychedelic trip, we hear a voice note from our lover boy.
Yeah, too long where I've been crushing on you too long. I pack my bags, I'll be gone. Love is all I seek for. You let me down just too long.
And the next thing we see is him clutching a small Ghana must go bag in a packed bus singing.
I go Lagos, I go get money, I go change my life.
Unfortunately, there are no readily available immigration numbers for Lagos. But according to former governor of the state, Akinwumi Ambode, 86 migrants enter Lagos every hour from other parts of the country, continent and the world, which is the highest daily records of immigrants in the world. Now, we know those numbers are probably a gross exaggeration for political purposes, but they are, in some sense, indicative of the reality. Thousands of young Nigerians emigrate to Lagos every year in search of greener pastures. Lagos, as an idea, is like a bat signal in the Nigerian sky, projecting hope and possibilities. But even with his determined eyes, we still hear him sing a double-edged plea in the chorus. To Lagos, he sings,
Eko, don't let me go.
But to his lover, he sings,
Don't let me go. Eko.
Finally, we arrive at the bus park in Lagos and we hear a conductor say,
You know, carry go.
To which our protagonist, its eyes red with determination, replies,
Give me more.
As if to say, here we go. And so his odyssey begins.
Do you know something? There's nearly 7 billion humans settled all over this little planet. But now, for the first time ever, more than half of us are living in cities. Without anyone even noticing it, mankind has evolved into an urban species. Things will never be the same again. Welcome to Lagos.
Ibile, Eko Ile, ayaya, ansela, Ibile, Ibile,
There's a little bit of a time jump, and by the time we meet up with our lover boy again, he has spent some time in Lagos already. He's worked as a cleaner in giant mansions while sharing a single bedroom with 4 others. He's watched Teslas drive into large potholes and splash water on him on his way to buy food from a roadside mama put. He's passed by people sleeping at BRT bus stops with their children early in the morning on his way back from work as a waiter in the club. So when he sings about his Rolling Stone grandpa,
my grandpapa no get the glass. He prefers everyone but his own children. He gets the big Biggie, biggie house. We still dey sleep for gutter. Ask my grandpapa for.
You know exactly what he's talking about. The senseless inequality. The way poverty exists so casually in the same space as sickening wealth. In the chorus when he sings,
Oh my grandpapa know the audio. He know the audio. My grandpapa know the audio. He know the audio.
it's with a throat full of disgust and disappointment. According to Amnesty International, of the 23.3 million residents of Lagos, 2/3 of residents in our mega city live below the poverty line of $1 a day, and it's estimated that 70% live in informal settlements. Is this it? He mumbles under his breath at every opportunity he gets. Is this the Lagos? Our lover boy is starting to wake up from his dream into the nightmare he's living. At work at the club, a couple propositions him for a threesome. His boss touches him inappropriately, and his roommate invites him to a low-key sex party gig. Soon enough, he realizes the madness doesn't just end with the inequality. There also seems to be moral emptiness that pervades the city. How everything just seems to be going downtown.
Them say the chief, he dey sleep with the thief wife. I boogie for corner, he dey sleep with the chief wife. The neighbor daughter carry belle for the thief child.
Even as he recounts the story to us, he still seems a bit shocked. His world is spinning and falling apart, and religion here has no respite to offer either. The religious leaders prey on the poor and pray for the rich. He continues in the next verse. Something is wrong. By this point, our protagonist is at his lowest. He's begun to lean into drugs and alcohol. So the next time we hear from him, he's 1,000 feet high in the sky, singing a different song.
Don't bring me down. I'm floating over the clouds.
Greens, stout, dim blurry lights, booming music louder than your thoughts, little orange skulls dancing around with its attendant color party, white lines, cheap wines, breathless, sweaty bodies losing their minds in exchange for a little peace of mind. You know, the usual. In 2023, the chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, revealed that with a 33% prevalence, Lagos had the highest cases of drug abuse in Nigeria. In an assessment of drug and substance abuse prevalence among undergraduates in southwestern schools in Nigeria, the most recurring motive for drug abuse was, and I quote, to get high and numb emotional problems caused by predominantly socioeconomic and societal factors. Staring into the black void of space with his back on the moon, our lover boy sings.
Just a young man from a small town. Me and my people, we love the good times. You see the good times, they never come. We take the bad one, we drink a cheap wine.
His eyes wide and empty. A smile on his face, wider and just as empty. The track following this is titled Purple Jar. After the 1796 short story by Maria Edgeworth about a little girl who spends the money given to her for a new pair of shoes on a beautiful purple jar, only to get home and find out that the jar was in fact clear and transparent, just filled with a dark purple liquid.
I like to eat my cake and have it.
Loverboy stares into the camera and tells us in the opening line of this track, he's crash landed and now his life is playing before his eyes. The weight of his regret is held up by a big wide smile, but you can see his eyes crack a little under the pressure. Titi Lokbe, his lover at the start of the story, didn't let him down as he had us believe. He lied to us. He cheated and got caught, and then abandoned her, burned his bridges, and ran off to the big city to chase his dreams. His jar is half empty now, and quickly clearing out before his eyes. The bright lights he pined for so long were just a performance, and now, under the lights, he's realizing that circus animals don't get front row seats to the show. They are the show. Titi Lokpe's tears haunt him in the chorus.
We almost had it all. We almost had it all. We almost.
But it is what it is. He is where he is. He stamps and scratches the mud off his shoes, lifts his head, and rejoins the Lagos brisk walk, mumbling to himself.
I'll keep my shoes on. I'll keep my shoes on.
Sometimes I think the third mainland bridge is more than just a link between the mainland and the island. I think it's a submerged metaphor for social stratification. On one side, you have a mecca for the bourgeois. For those on the other side, a symbol of success and an aspiration. Then we now have the hopeless and poor members of society that dwell in the slums underneath the bridge. I think these are the three sides of the third mainland bridge.
Ladies snare and gentlemen snare, I'm your host for today's snare. They call me Bado snare, and you're on land snare, and you're on la snare, alone snare.
Many years have passed now. Many less than odd jobs, many needles, many bodies, many losses, and not nearly enough wins. Our lover boy is dressed in a pure white dry lace buba and shokoto and a black APC branded cap. He has bloodshot eyes, brown teeth with grills, and a massive gold chain with a dollar sign on it. He controls a bungalow with 3 bedrooms and a parlor in a Lekki adjacent area now, and an old banged up Toyota Corolla.
This is my world. I welcome you all. Relax and take a seat here,
he says, as he welcomes a group of young boys whose hungry eyes remind him of himself back in the day. He gives them a quick tour of the house. He never had anyone tell him the truth when he came to Lagos, so he takes it upon himself to be straight with the boys. Here,
the poor man wants a space, the rich man wants the place,
and oftentimes, he gets it. Here,
the rich stay greedy, the poor stay needy,
but at least there's one consolation, he insists.
Everyone gets to die.
The boys are not sure what to make of this consolation, but he insists upon it. If both the greedy and the needy end up 6 feet under all the same, where's the justice, they ask? He smiles and keeps walking. Finally, they arrive at the boys' quarters, and just before he leaves them to settle in, he gives them one final piece of advice, this time in Yoruba. He has to say it in Yoruba. He says, because it's the only way he can express the importance of it. He goes,
Baba veni so tu, da veni so si, kawa veni lati ai, titi de sei, eni maini, aini, eni unini, konini, je vos
to translate it literally, it means if you decided to carry an egg on your left hand and another on your right hand and then walked backward from where you were all the way to his saying, the people who would praise you, the people who would call you foolish would call you foolish. In other words, don't listen to anyone. Do you and keep it moving. The few boys in our protagonist's home eventually grow into more boys, and then more boys and girls, stuffed together across multiple apartments in Lagos, and then into his money making tentacles around Lagos, doing all his dirty work: drugs, death, fraud, prostitution, thuggery, and all its attendant paraphernalia. An inexhaustible, extensive network of merchants, dealers, and slaves.
If you ain't got freedom, you can give.
If you ain't got freedom, you can't give. Our lover boy sings on the final track of the album as he turns away from kissing the ring of his underboss and stares at us, the audience, dead in the eye with a golden smile.
You ain't got love, you can't resist. Do you hear me say?
If you ain't got love, you can't receive. He makes his way downstairs, hops into his brand new GLE 350 with plate number City Boy, and just as he's about to drive out, he winds down his glass and leaves us with a parting message.
And we have nothing to lose. The people have nothing to lose.
The people have nothing to lose. With that, the scene fades to black. The music fades out, and we, the audience, are left to sit with the image Brymo has painted. A portrait of a boy and his city. A dark landscape shot of the many lives, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and greed that make up this city. The victim and the victor as merely different sides of the same coin. We are Lagos, it seems Brymo is saying. We, the people. We are the ghosts haunting this city. We are the merchants, dealers, and slaves.
Merchants, dealers.